I'm back. I hope you guys can find me. I had to restart my stream. Dang it. I started it with my door closed, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Hopefully you guys can find me so we can talk about the world card. Oh, there's Sam. Hey Sam. Hi Lisa. Okay, you guys found me. I messed up. I guess I shouldn't have started it without with the door being closed. I was trying to keep my cat out of here. I'm so paranoid that my cat is gonna do like knock over my crystal harp. I'm so paranoid, and I also have a bunch of stuff down here that I don't want him getting into. But we're back. All right. So happy to see you guys. We are on the last card. Is Lila here? We are on. You think that the harp's cut? I think it was my door being closed because our Wi-Fi router is actually like as far away from me as it could get. And then when I shut the door, it just makes it so wonky. But I just didn't want my cat coming in here. I'm so nervous that he's gonna. As a matter of fact, I have a little spray bottle right here so that I can kind of spritz him and make him go back out. Hi, Beachcomber. Yeah, because I'm working on these. I'm making more of my copper. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Look at how many I'm working on. So we had the Lionsgate portal. We had the Lionsgate portal on Friday, right? The 8/8 Lionsgate portal, which is absolutely the strongest manifesting energy, right? Lionsgate portal is always really strong energy for manifesting, bringing your ideas to life. And I did spend that whole day focusing on manifesting more business from my Etsy shop because it's kind of fallen behind because I haven't been here doing the lives, just dealing with my health issues. I didn't do so good in my shop last month. So that was my focus. And I am not kidding. When I woke up the next morning, Saturday morning, I started out with 7 orders for the Reiki palm rings. And by the end of the day, yesterday, Saturday morning, I had 12 orders to fill. I actually had to pause that item in my Etsy shop so that I can catch up. So yeah, they're flying off the shelf. So let me tell you, that Lionsgate portal energy is something else. And then we had the full sturgeon moon last night, which was absolutely gorgeous. I hope you guys got to see it. Hi, Lila. So happy you're here. Yay. We are on the last card in the major arcana. That means this is our 22nd class. I can't believe that. That's crazy. The world. So we're at the world card. So nice to see you, Lila. Yeah. Let me pull up my notes real quickly here. Can you guys hear my cat? He's not very happy that he's being left out. That's okay. Okay, so the world card is card number 21 in the major arcana. It seems like a lot of the more modern decks that are coming out, a lot of the creators are creating extra cards to tack on to the end of the major arcana. So a lot of times a deck will come with an extra 1 or 2, sometimes 3 cards in their major arcana. It's per creator. But we're just going to stick with the basic 78 card deck. And today we're on the world. This is a culmination of all the cards leading up to here. This is a completion. The world card reminds us, let me read my notes here. I work so hard on them, so let me read them real quick. The world card reminds us that life is both a journey and a dance. Every ending is just a doorway to a new beginning. And with each cycle, we become more integrated, more aware, and more aligned with our true purpose. This is not just a card of completion. It's a celebration of who you've become through the process. So I wanted to start that. And before I go any further, I'm going to call in the guides and protectors, angels, ancestors of the love and light only. We only want high vibes in here. I'm asking for a connection to the creator, God source energy in this moment. A collective connection for everyone here, anyone who comes. Asking for angelic protections to be placed around that connection. Extend that out to everyone here. so that we can be divinely protected and safe and cozy, tucked within the God Source energy. So be it, and so it is. Yay. Hi, Dean. You found me. You found your way back. Yay. I'm so happy to see everybody. So happy to see everybody. So my crystal harp was not supposed to be here until today. So it came a day early. I think that manifestation stuff I was doing sped up the little process a little bit. It's absolutely amazing, and I can barely put it down. I can't wait to play it for you guys. But we're going to do this first. Okay. Did you guys bring your crystals? I put in, I don't know. I guess maybe you couldn't see them if I had to restart the stream. I'll just tell you what they are. And let me go here to my notes on the crystals. Okay. I actually added an extra one after I did my notes. Just, I felt compelled to, spirit led to do that. And let's start with labradorite. So I know the camera's crappy, but this is a labradorite sphere. You can see that flash right there. This stone is also referred to as the dragon's eye stone sometimes. But this stone is the stone of transformation. This is the magic stone. This is stepping into your higher self. And that's what the energy of labradorite brings in accordance with the world card. Okay. And then we've got the amethyst. Amethyst is spiritual integration, wisdom, and divine connection. Okay. This amethyst is a crystalline version of the silver cord. Okay. And clear quartz, excuse me. Clear quartz is for amplification of energy all the time. It's also for clarity. So it does kind of weed out and pull out any confusion or doubts, or it also brings clarity. I brought in this one as well. It's a little bit more of a smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is good too, to work with good too, but definitely clear quartz is better. And then we've got the lapis. This is the very last piece of lapis, or the last lapis tower that I have in the store. I'm going to need to order some more. The lapis is for truth, clarity, and inner vision. We use lapis when we're working with our third eye, always. The one I decided to malachite. Sorry, I forgot malachite. This is literally the only piece of malachite I own right now, because malachite is my best friend's favorite stone. And every time I get any pieces of malachite, she buys them. So this is the only piece I have. So malachite is that green and black stone. And it is for growth, transformation, and alignment with your life's purpose. So another good one for alignment. And then I decided to pop in the fluorite, rainbow fluorite, because this one is also really good for working with your intuition and helps with the divine connection as well. So that's the crystals today. And let me just peek in here. Yay, I'm so happy to see everyone. You've been in the Matrix for 5 minutes. That's funny. I get stuck in the Matrix quite often, Dean, so don't feel bad. That's funny, though. Okay, so let me go back to the beginning of my notes here. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Today we're stepping into the final chapter of the Major Arcana. We've got the World card, card number 21. This card is the culmination of the Fool's journey, representing completion, mastery, and integration of all life's lessons. When this card appears, it's like the universe itself is applauding you for making it to a new level of existence. So the number 10 is a completion. I'm not exactly sure why I'm being shown a 10. Spirit's telling me to point out number 10. Well, in numerology, 10 is a completion, which is the same thing as the world. So we'll go with that. This is a better class. Last Sunday, you guys, I struggled so hard through that class because I was in so much pain. And I can't take strong pain medicine. I can't take narcotics and stuff like that. So I was in a lot of pain. I had this ice pack thing on me, and I was just trying to. It's the 10th today. Oh, well, there you go. They were showing me a 10. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, Sam, we'll go with that. It's the 10th. Gosh, it's the 10th already. Oh, you know what that means? That means we have to go to our tomorrow. Dean and I have to go to our property management's office and frickin' re-sign our lease. We are very fortunate that they're going to allow us to sign only a 3-month lease. Is Bestie in here? Hi, Bestie! Because we haven't, the universe has not placed us yet in the place where we are going to be happy, safe, and comfortable. That is literally the only stipulation I have put on where we are going to end up. We're wide open to many different areas. It's very difficult to buy a house here in Washington State. There's not a lot here. So we're still working on it, and it might take us, longer than we had thought. We did go to look at a place yesterday. It was very promising. So we've got the realtor and the lender kind of mashing some numbers, and we'll see. But like I've been telling everybody, I mean, it would be perfect for us. It's a very nice house on its own beautiful, like, corner cul-de-sac lot, fully fenced in. There's fruit trees. It's so big, wide open, like Rambler style floor plan. 3 bedrooms, but actually 4, because there's like an office, but they can't count that as a bedroom because there's no closet in there. Yeah, so, and it already has like a wheelchair ramp. And it has 3 outbuildings. One of them is large and has like a little wood stove in it. So that would work really great as a storefront for me. So it could very, and it's beautiful hardwood floors throughout. It's got French doors instead of a sliding glass door, which I love. Vaulted ceilings. So it is a very beautiful, and it would be perfect. But Dean and I have decided that we're going to just put it into the hands of God and the universe. And all we ask is that we end up in a place where we are happy, safe, and comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I mean physically comfortable, financially comfortable, all of that. So right now it's kind of up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with that one. But even if everything works out and we do decide to purchase it, it takes time to do all that. So we really don't have a choice. We have to go and sign a 3-month lease tomorrow to remain in this apartment. But that's okay. At least they offer the 3-month option, and we don't have to try to sign a year's lease and then buy out of it, So that's been going on, and that kind of became manifested as well, that place. So it would be great. And it's also a lot closer to my bestie. So that would be great too. And my niece, who helps me out a lot. So that would be great too. So that's what we've got going on right now so the 10th or the 11th is the day we have to go in and sign. That's all right. At least we have a roof over our head. Right, Sam, exactly. If it's meant for me, we'll get it. And that's kind of like where my prayers have been going. Basically is, if this is the place where we will be happy, safe, and comfortable, then open doors for us. Oh, I had something amazing happen too. I'll tell you in a minute. But if it's not, then shut those doors, and I will take it for what it's worth. There's something that we can't see that is not going to serve our highest good in this place. And I'm not going to let it affect me negatively. I'm going to actually take it as a positive thing that we're being guided and directed to something better. So one thing, when I did this prayer and did say open doors, so from the beginning, we knew that if we did get this place, because it is on the higher end of what we were pre-approved for. Almost the top of what we were pre-approved for, which is going to make a high payment. A little bit higher than what we pay rent here, but not too bad. But it was a little bit uncomfortable. The thought of $2,500 a month as a payment was a little bit uncomfortable. And we thought that might actually be a deal breaker. But guess what happened on Friday? Reliable Credit, which is the company we purchased our very expensive sports car that is my husband's midlife crisis. He bought a Mustang. The place we purchased our very expensive car from, we've been paying on that car for 5 years. And at one point we had almost had it paid off, and then we had to do a personal loan and use it as collateral. So it extended a little bit longer. But somehow last month we ended up with more money in our account than we should have at the end of the month. And we were like, what the heck is going on? We realized that it was the exact amount of our car payment, which is pretty high. So we're thinking, uh-oh, what happened? We did switch insurance companies. So we thought maybe that had messed it up. So we thought, well, they'll catch up. The money's there, so they'll catch up, right? Well, this month came and they didn't take the payment. So that's two in a row. So we're like, what is going on? So Dean calls up Reliable Credit and they're like, you paid your car off a couple months ago. In fact, you overpaid and you have money coming back. So that opened up a chunk of change to add to our budget. So that made that higher payment much more comfortable. So that's what I mean by opening doors. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Otherwise, it's not where we're supposed to be. I'm going to trust and believe in that. And because I would hate to go from one place that's miserable and uncomfortable, and really, this place is really bad for my mental health just because of everything that's happened here. I struggle with my mental health in this house. I have complex PTSD. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD after what happened with my son. So I still have not come to you guys and told you guys the story of what exactly happened the night my son transitioned. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I need a little bit more counseling before I can do that. But I have complex PTSD it was very traumatic. And I mean, it's pretty much a given that you're going to have PTSD if you're a mother and you go through something like that. But I guess mine is more called complex PTSD. And so I think I just don't even feel like I can really begin to really put any work into fixing that or realigning that until I'm gone from here. So that's a mirrored thought of where we're at. Is it, Dean? Amazing. Yeah, so are you guys looking to relocate too? Are you guys just looking to be placed in a place where you're happy, safe, and comfortable? Or am I completely taking that out of context? You guys are looking to move too? Oh my gosh. Well, let's bounce that manifestation right off each other. Yes. The most important thing is not necessarily exactly where we end up or what the home looks like. I mean, of course, those things are important. The main focus when I do my intentions and my affirmations every day, the main focus is that we are happy, safe, and comfortable. And so wherever God thinks we need to be to meet those 3 criteria is where we'll be. And I'm going to put all my faith and trust in that. Because I do believe, especially after you get out of here. Sorry, guys. This works so good. He hates it. Anyways. Okay, I'm just jabbering away. Let's look at the symbolism on the world card. We've got, if you guys have got your cards in front of you, grab your card. This is just the basic Rider-Waite-Smith here. And then I have some more to look at here. So when we look at the world card, we see the forefront is a dancing individual, it's usually a dancing lady, or it could be a dancing animal inside of a wreath. The dancing figure, a woman, is sometimes androgynous. Sometimes you can't tell if it's a man or a woman, dances within a wreath, holding 2 wands or batons, symbolizing balance and mastery. So you'll see in her hands each time, they always have something in their hands. It's not always wands in the world card in every deck, but there's always either a world, like for example, this is the Star Tarot, and the woman is here and she's holding the globe, the world in her hand, but you still see the wreath around her. The wreath is a victory laurel, symbolizing completion, wholeness and triumph. Having belief in thoughts. Yes, absolutely, Dean. If we don't believe in, okay, it's funny because I just actually encountered this conversation a few days ago with someone else who, how do I say this? Okay, so there was an individual in our lives who did us wrong. Somebody who was a long time in our lives and very integrated. I mean, they were part of our wedding. They were just somebody that was very integrated into our lives for a long time, who did some really shady, terrible things, and we had to walk away. That individual had a stroke or had a medical situation. And I'm so sorry that happened. And I really hope that they recover fully and to their highest good. But it's that when you put that kind of energy out, that harmful, negative type energy out into the world, that's what you're going to get back. Only it's got the whole power of the universe behind it. And that's why a lot of times they'll say it comes back threefold or tenfold, because you put that energy out and now it's went out and it's gained momentum as it's come back to you, and it's going to be worse. We were just talking about that. So our thoughts create our reality. Absolutely. Your thoughts create your reality. Nothing exists at all until you think about it. Until you think about it. Nothing exists in your life until you think about it. So we absolutely think our reality into existence. I believe that 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Yes, Sam, karma. Karma is, put it very simply, karma is your energy that you put out into the world returned. That's what karma is. So, and if you always keep that in mind, and always keep in mind that your thoughts create your reality. Not only that, the things that you speak, that's a frequency. Your voice is a frequency. Thoughts are also a frequency, but your voice is a very, very powerful frequency. And you are the one who's in control of it. So you get to speak and say what it is that you want to for your highest good. A lot of times people will say, oh, I'm just bored. Oh, I'm limited in this way, or nothing good ever happens to me. Or people don't realize that they're making that way by saying those things. I'm myself just as guilty as, my humanness comes through sometimes too. And I'll be like so frustrated over something, and I'll be like, why can't I do this? Or why isn't this happening? Or maybe we're not worthy of this happening. Well, now I just made us not worthy by saying that. So I'm always personally trying to be extremely mindful of the things that I speak, and definitely the things that I think, because our thoughts literally create our reality and the others around us as well. Because our thoughts are, and the words we speak, our words are spells. Our words are spells. They just are. And they create action. So, with the world card, this is a completion of the Fool's journey. So all of the archetypes that we've looked at and explored together for the last 21 classes, this is a culmination, a completion of all of those. Let me see what Sam says. So when it happens, there was always something out there. So true. Everything I used to worry about, anything, it happened. Yes. So when it happens, there was always something out there blue that happened and fixed it. So I understand. I understand what you're saying there. Whenever you put too much energy towards stress or worrying about something, you can actually create it. You can actually bring it in. So when you catch yourself maybe getting stuck on a certain thing that you're struggling with, try to turn it the other way around. And I tell this to my bestie all the time too. If she wants something to happen, instead of saying, oh man, universe, I really want this thing to happen. Make this happen for me. This would really make me happier. This would really give me a growth spurt in my soul journey. Instead of doing that, say, I am so happy and grateful that I have my house or I'm happy, safe, and comfortable. Because if you speak it, that you already have it, that's how you're going to get it. You speak it like it's already there, it's already happened. That's how you do it. And that's bringing it to fruition, bringing it to reality. And if you do spend a lot of excess time worrying about specific things and you catch yourself doing that, turn it around. Just pull out that worry, turn it around. Instead of saying, man, I hope this doesn't happen, say, I'm so glad this didn't happen. See what I'm saying? Turn it around. Speak it into existence. I always think of, absolutely, you're protected. We're all protected. We're all divinely protected. But one thing I do want to say is, those of us who are aware of how we can turn our thought processes around and aware of how we can manifest the things into our life that for our highest good by using the power of our thoughts, our voice, our intentions, our affirmations, we are a target. We're a target for the lower level energies. And what happens is they put those destructive, self-defeating, those thoughts into our heads, those intrusive thoughts. So when you're just going along your business and you're doing fine and you're just buzzing on your high frequency, and all of a sudden you get this intrusive thought, like this happens to my bestie quite a bit, where she'll all of a sudden she'll say, somebody's hurt somewhere. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Somebody's hurt somewhere. She'll call me to make sure I'm okay. She'll feel it that strongly. Or, she'll get so stressed out over it. Right, Shirley? Yeah. So those are intrusive thoughts. They are usually put there from something outside of yourself. And if you can catch it at the very beginning before it goes into a spiral, because it's harder to get rid of once it's in a spiral. If you can catch it at the beginning, wait a minute, I don't think this way. Or, if you can catch it at the beginning and turn it around, that's how to deal with the intrusive thoughts. It happens to me too. It's part of my PTSD. So like, I'll be having the greatest day. Everything will be going great. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I will full on relive that moment where my son transitioned. It doesn't have to be triggered by anything. I know that is an outside force trying to pull my vibe down, trying to smash me down, trying to get with those intrusive thoughts. I know this. Knowing this makes it so much easier to handle and deal with. So it happens to all of us. And if you allow yourself to go into the spiral of that, that's where you find yourself fighting depression, anxiety attacks, those kind of things. Lisa says, I'm practicing telling those thoughts to stop and putting up a red screen in my mind to stop it in its tracks. That is so interesting, Lisa, that you point out a red screen, because my visualization for no way, we're not going to have this thought, is a giant red X. My spirit guides show me that red X when they don't want me to go places or connect my energy to certain individuals or like work on some of the cases on here. I get the red X. I call it my red X. But isn't that crazy that red would be, because red really generally just kind of stands for like stop, right? Like warning, stop. For me, I get a red X. That's interesting, Lisa. Very interesting. Yeah. And listen to that. So what happens is it becomes habitual or becomes naturally in your flow, that once you get in the groove of turning those thought processes around, recognizing an intrusive thought for what it is and telling yourself, wait a minute, that's not even mine. Bye. You don't get to take over my mind. Once you keep doing it for a while, it almost kind of automatically will happen, and you'll catch them at the beginning a lot quicker. And also too, the lower level energies and this horrible energy of chaos that came through on July 5th. It's just so bad. And it has spread itself throughout the whole entire world, and it's putting chaos in everybody's lives. Anyone who has any openings, people who struggle with addiction, mental health issues, those kind of things, they're just such a huge target for this thing. This chaotic entity that is beyond huge and can be everywhere. at the same time. I've witnessed it in little tiny ways, and I've witnessed it in big ways since it came on July 5th. It knows I'm aware of it, and I feel like it targets those of us who it potentially thinks that we are a threat to the planetary ascension process. I'm a big threat to that. I was literally born and I lived this lifetime. This incarnation was all an accumulation for this here and now moment when people are going to be ready to wake up to their divinity, wake up to the truths, and wake up to their abilities, and wake up to what we're looking at as a future for humanity. I needed to live for 50 years and experience a lot of stuff in order to qualify to do what I do. Or I don't even know if qualify is the right word, but in order to get to the place where I pre-planned before I came here, I chose to be awake more, or have access to my senses more in this lifetime, so that I could experience the hardships, the lessons, the trials, the tribulations that are all growth. The harder of a life you have, the more growth that's taking place. And I had a very hard life, like literally everything bad that could happen to a person and happened to me all in one lifetime. But those were all preparing me for the time when the planetary vibration was going to be at a point where people were going to be able to receive the things that I have to share, and receive and feel safe in coming to me for help with their experiences, with their awakenings. Because Spirit is always having me say this, we all have the ability to access our extrasensory abilities. We all do. Sometimes we will put it in our pre-birth contract that we don't want access to that because we're then incarnating for a very specific experience where we don't want to have access to that because it would change that experience or make it something other than what we're here to do. Frequencies under meditation for me is the answer. Me as well. Lately, I've been meditating on my grounding mat with my big giant quartz tower I have now. And I've been seeing some rather just things that I've never seen before in trance meditation. It feels really like advanced technologies that I'm being shown, different weird weather anomalies that are different. I am part of a group on Facebook of experiencers, people who had experiences with other life forms, which I did as a child. It runs in my family. Other people in my family did as well, which I didn't have access to the memories of that until like my mid 40s. So like they had taken away all of my memories of that. And then I had like this like Kundalini type awakening in my mid 40s where I started remembering things, and it came fast. Pretty shocking right at first. And I was in denial of it right at first. But yeah, so I've been seeing some very different, like advanced type things in trance meditation lately, Dean, that I've been journaling like crazy, everything that I'm experiencing and seeing. It's all just like new stuff. So I've done like a lifetime of being shown the same things over and over and like preparing me for when I'm going to be needing to be helpful in this awakening, planetary ascension process. There is something so big that is coming. Everybody can feel it. There is a humongous shift that's so close. The kids nowadays, a lot of the young kids, they're being visited by Jesus. They're having dreams of Jesus. They're being visited by Jesus. These kids I can tell you right now, intuitively watching some of these videos of these kids who have these prophetic dreams. I know what it feels like to have a prophetic dream. I know the difference between just a regular dream, which is an out-of-body experience, no matter what, or a prophetic dream, which is something I feel I'm supposed to be inclined to share, or it's important, so I pay close attention to it. So I kind of can relate to the emotion that these children are showing when they recount their dreams. Or there was one who, it happened while he was wide awake in broad daylight in his front yard, and this child was almost nonverbal. He was autistic, almost nonverbal, and he kept referring to Jesus as she, because he was saying she was wearing a dress. She was wearing a white dress. It's crazy because these kids that are having these visions are literally all over the world, in all different places of the world, and they're describing the exact same things. So they're definitely getting visited, which kind of, that happens for me as well. So, and usually in trance meditation, but it's extremely interesting to me, and it's also very confirming, because I keep getting a message that I keep getting 2030. 2030 is like a 10, a completion. And I've gotten that for a while now. So I don't know exactly what that means. I just know that 2030 is a big completion of something. And at that point, everything we know will be different. Everything we know, nothing will be the same in life. And that's, so, I mean, take what resonates. This is the message I've repeatedly get when I go into deep trance meditation. I've seen some pretty scary things, like worldwide events and stuff. Weather anomalies. I have a repeating dream that also has come to me in meditation of a tsunami. And that's why I don't want to live by the ocean. Our realtor kept trying to find us a place right out on the coast by the ocean. We are 3 hours inland. I don't even know if that's enough for me because of this tsunami dream that I've had multiple times. I had it a couple times as a child, but in my adult years, when my life kind of started to slow down a little bit and I wasn't like in survival mode trying to raise 3 teenagers, working 3 jobs, I would sleep so hard I didn't dream during those times. But when my life kind of started slowing down, those dreams started coming back. The tsunami dream is hugely reoccurring. It has also kind of changed over time. So it's went from just being like this dream of just like this giant thing that comes out of the ocean, and it's so realistic, like I'm seeing it right now, like water dripping off of it. It's a space, I don't even know if ship is the right, it's almost like a city that just comes up out of the water and just literally comes up. But there's a big tsunami first, and a big chunk of this country falls into the ocean. Actually, it doesn't fall into the ocean. It breaks off and becomes a whole separate body of land, and like creates a whole separate, it doesn't sink into the ocean like people think. It's more like a splitting, a separating, and it becomes a whole. And the crazy thing is, one time I had this dream, and part of the dream was I was seeing all of these really bad people, all of these people who were demonic, like the elites, into terrible things like, predator type stuff. And they were all on the part of the land. Well, the land split, and all the bad people were on that land and were pushed away from the mainland. So I've had that dream happen. Hi, Roxanne. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. But the world card makes me think of those type of reoccurring dreams, because to me it feels like once that happens, like once that actually comes to fruition and happens, then that will feel like a completion for me. But let me show you, I lost my notes again. My phone just goes black on me. Okay, let me get back. I want to play my crystal heart for you guys. So let me stop jabbering and get back to the class real quickly. Let's talk about the symbolism on the card. So we did talk about the dancing figure. The two things in her hand symbolizing balance and mastery of opposing forces. The wreath is symbolizing a completion, a wholeness, triumph. So most of the time, the world card will have 4 figures and a figure in each corner. It is Taurus, which is earth stability, Leo, which is fire passion, Scorpio, which is water transformation, and Aquarius, which is air intellect. And so that's all 4 elements that are attached to the world card, all 4 elements. Okay. Okay. I didn't take out the world card out of my animated tarot. I should have. I just don't want to dig it out right now. It's really cool because it does show the person in the wreath doing this kind of like energetic like dance. And that is called the infinity dance, where the figure's movement is never ending and it shows like the cycles of beginnings and endings. I just wanted to add that in there. Sometimes there's importance in the symbolism of the dance that the figure is doing itself. The ruler is Saturn. Saturn teaches responsibility, structure, life lessons. It's the planet of mastery and graduation, graduating your tests. The world reflects Saturn's reward after discipline and achieving success and wisdom through perseverance, because you've now traversed the entire major arcana and you're at the end, and that took a lot of perseverance. Can't hardly read my own writing here. The modalities and elements, like I said, all 4 fixed signs are represented, showing stability, mastery, balance, and energies. Let's look at the numerology real quickly for the world card. It is number 21. 2 plus 1 is a 3. 3 represents creativity, expansion, and self-expression. 3 also means your circle of support. So this would be your guides, your protectors, your angels, your ancestors, as well. In the world, it is the joy of creating your own reality after learning the lessons of the entire major arcana. So, like what we were just talking about, our thoughts and our words create our reality. So that fits really well with that conversation, being that we've now went through all the different aspects, all the different archetypes of the major arcana, and learned all the lessons that came with each one. And now we're here at a completion. Love it. Okay, we talked about the crystals. So upright meanings. And while I tell you the upright meanings, I'm just going to show you some of these that I've got here. So this is from the Star Tarot. I know it's hard to see them, but it's actually a really beautiful card. I love it. It's got my butterflies on there. All right. So upright meaning, completion of a cycle. I'm going to save these ones for last. This is the Cat Tarot. Graduation or achievement. So if you pull the world card in a reading, this can symbolize for you, if it's upright, the completion of a cycle, graduation or achievement, fulfillment, wholeness, feeling whole. It can also represent travel. This could be either literal or spiritual. So if I'm doing a reading on, say, somebody's dream work, sometimes people will ask me to do a reading on, they'll be having these dreams and they feel like they're trying to tell them something and they can't decipher it, and they'll come to me and ask me to do a reading on it and see what I can get, right? So during travel, so when I pull the world card, sometimes if I'm doing a reading on someone's dreams, that tells me that they are an astral traveler. Like they literally travel outside of themselves while they sleep. Hi, Ginger! Yay! So happy you're here. Okay, integration of lessons into daily life is the last one there. The reversal meanings, I'm sorry, you guys can't hardly see these, would be incomplete goals, fear of closure or moving on. A lot of times we get stuck in our comfort zone, right? And we don't want to move forward. We're like, you know what? I'm good. Like nothing really bad's happening to me. I'm not really going anywhere, but I'm safe and comfortable where I'm at in the moment. And we can't let that happen, because we come here to experience this place. on so many different levels. And really, honestly, once you transition back into spirit, you even, especially if you had a hard life, because a lot of times when people are struggling through life, they limit themselves on because of mind thought or thought patterns, actions that you take in regards to thought patterns that put you back into bad situations. A lot of times we don't realize that that's actually intentional because it's for soul growth. Every hard lesson or every hardship comes with a lesson. If you don't have any hardship and everything's peachy keen, you're not learning much. You're just here to experience a pleasant experience. But once we transition, and I've gotten this from spirit over years and years of doing readings for people and bringing their loved ones through. A lot of times they will say, I wish I would have leaned into this more, or I wish I would have, stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit more and experienced this and this and this. I wasted an opportunity to, take the plunge, or, start the fool's journey, which is just going into it without really considering anything. Just let's try it and see what happens type thing. So anyways, that does, when you do get the world card in reverse, a lot of times for me, that does for me show somebody who is stuck, and they're in their comfort zone and they just aren't willing to go and experience any more pain. A lot of times this is people who are, have had a hard life, and they've worked so hard, and they finally find themselves in a comfortable position, and they're like, oh man, I worked so hard to get here. I'm not moving. So I'm not going to ask for anything more out of this life other than just what I have. And I'm not going to take any more chances because I might just lose everything I have. And really, we're just limiting ourselves in that thought process, because when we transition into spirit, we don't lose the connection to what we were necessarily, but we look at it objectively. So like, when you transition into spirit, you're no longer attached to worry and stress and pain and envy and greed and all of those low vibrational things. We actually come here to experience those things because we can't experience them in spirit a lot of the time. So a lot of times spirit will come through and they will be like, man, I wish I would have bought that Harley and learned how to ride a motorcycle. Or, man, I wish I would have this. And they feel like they kind of wasted or squandered their time here, which once you go into spirit, it's like that, the blink of an eye. Like they a lot of times will be like, I wish I would have experienced this, or like that kind of thing. And it doesn't come through as regret as much as, I was standing in my own way and I realize that now. But it's not like, oh, I feel guilty or I feel bad or I'm regretful. It's more like a realization of what they couldn't see while incarnated, if that makes sense. Also, for reversals, feeling stuck at the finish line, this is just taking that final ending thing to close out a chapter because you're afraid of the finality of the whole thing, or you allow that little string to be attached to that person that's really not there for your highest good because you feel like obligated, or I've known him for so long, I can't just walk away. Well, yeah, you can. If it's for your highest good, you need to. So that's being stuck at the finish line. Also, the need, when the world card comes in reverse, this can be telling you that there needs to be an integration of the lessons that you have learned up until now. So you've already learned the lessons, but there needs to be an integration of them to the whole. And that can come through as well. And so we've got one more here. So pretty. And then these are the two alien decks that I have. They're so cool. That is an eye. That's like one of the grays, the alien grays, and the universe in his eye. Isn't that cool? I love that. And this one I love too. So there's those. Okay. Okay, let's do like a little class exercise. Hold on one second. I'm drinking coffee. Isn't my cup adorable? Isn't that so stinking cute? My niece Autumn gave that to me. Is Roxanne here? Hi, Roxanne. Hi, everybody. Okay, so did you guys bring a notebook and a pen? I thought it would be fun to do a little class exercise real quickly. And you don't have to. You don't have to write it down if you don't want to. You can just do this in your head. But think of a personal goal or a project or a challenge that you have been working on right now, recently. Okay, so just one. Just think of one of your goals. It could be laundry, getting laundry done. It could be anything. Just a personal goal or a challenge, something that you are afraid to step out of your comfort zone and do, something like that, that's been brought to your awareness recently. Okay. On your paper, I want you to draw a circle on your paper. Draw a big circle. Do I have paper? I'll do it with you. I've got paper right here. Okay. So on our paper, we're going to draw a circle. Got my circle. This is representing the wreath in the world card. The completion, the wreath in the world card. Okay. Now, inside, write the lesson that we were just talking about. So write that key lesson. Write what that lesson is. Let me think. What is it that I'm working on right now? Okay, I know what it is. Anxiety over doctor appointments. So for me, I'm going to say mine is anxiety over doctor's appointments. That's probably the main thing right now that I need to work through is how to get a handle on that. So you guys write down in your circle what you're working on. What is your challenge, your goal, your project? What is it that you're working on right now? Okay, and then once you've done that, on the outside of the circle, write down in just a few words the key lessons, the things that you have learned as you have. So for example, for me, mine is anxiety over going to a doctor's appointment. I have learned that if I meditate right beforehand, so I'll write down meditation on the outside of the circle. I have found that if I pray or speak to my guides and ask for that anxiety to quell down, that helps as well. So that is asking my guides. I have found that if I have somebody with me, so that is, it doesn't matter if it's my best friend, if it's my niece, if it's my husband, if I have somebody with me, so that would be a partner. And then last but not least, I do positive affirmations ahead of time. Everything's going to be great. I'm not going to be made to wait forever for my appointment. It'll be right on time. The doctor's going to be informed, on the top of her game today. You know, those kind of things. I'll do the affirmations before I leave. So that's the project. So you put in the circle, you put what it is you're working on the outside. What have you learned that works to help you work towards that goal? So whenever you feel stuck in a situation, or you feel like whatever's challenging you in the moment is you're just stuck there, try to do the circle, write it in the circle, and then write around the circle the things you are doing that help you, are helping you. This is just bringing it into reality. Now, what you could do, and this is very powerful, if you believe in crystals and the ability, the energy that's in them, what you could do is, once you finish writing that down on your paper, take your crystals, whatever crystals, the ones that pertain to this class, or just your crystals that empower you, that you feel are the most powerful, or you work with in meditation or whatever, and place them in the circle as well, and let them sit in there for a couple hours. That's called charging the energy that you just created in that. So I added that in. It says optional, charge the paper with one of the crystals from the list or a few from your collection. And this helps to seal the completion of this goal. So it will help you to bring this, get unstuck and bring this to fruition for you. Okay, and we're almost done here and I can play my harp. Okay, here's your homework. This is the last homework assignment for the major arcana. Over the next week, from now until next Sunday, I would like for you at just one time, but at whatever point, just sometime between now and next Sunday, do a 4-card spread for yourself. So this is just getting your cards, shuffling them, and pulling 4 cards, spread for yourself. We're going to say card A, B, C, and D. So for card A, we're going to consider Taurus, earth energy. These are the elements as well, but Taurus, earth energy. You're going to ask yourself, what physical stability or resource have I mastered in your 4-card spread? So for Taurus or earth energy, to represent the earth energy, your question is, what physical stability or resource have I mastered? Then B, so that was A, now we're on B. This is under the Leo or the fire energy. You're going to write, what passion or creativity have I developed? So for me, that would be the Reiki rings, my sculpting, my artwork, my jewelry I make, that kind of thing. And then C is Scorpio. This is water. You're going to ask, what emotional or spiritual transformation have I experienced within this? And then D, so C is considering emotion. Emotion, water is emotion embodied. Okay, so that goes with the water. And then with the air, which is D, what intellectual communicative skill have I strengthened or developed? So that is taking into consideration all 4 elements, as the world card is, with the earth, fire, water, and air. Journal your answers and reflect on how they form like a whole picture, like a complete picture for you. And then there you will see the growth. That will show you the growth that has taken place. This will help so much if you are in a stuck energy and you need the completion to take place, but you're a little afraid to step out of your comfort zone, or there's just a piece of lesson that still needs to be learned from it to create the alignment. This will help kind of push that into existence. And then we'll talk about it at the next class. Okay. So here's my closing words. I'm going to use this one. Okay. The world reminds us that life is both a journey and a dance, right? Because we did the Fool's Journey, and we've got the dancing angel or dancing figure. Every ending is just a doorway to a new beginning. And with each cycle, we become more integrated, more aware, and more aligned with our true purpose. This is not just a card of completion. It's a celebration of who you've become in the process. So that's another really good point I wanted to make before I'm done here, is the world card also represents victory and celebration of what you have accomplished through the process. So it's also a celebration card, or acknowledging somebody's what they have gained and what they have learned, and their accomplishments are also being acknowledged too sometimes when you pull the world card. Okay, so that is it. We are finished with the major arcana. That's amazing. We probably should have been finished with it a little bit ago, but that's all right. That's all right. Okay, who wants to hear the crystal harp? You guys want to hear it? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Comes with these handy dandy, super comfortable actually, white gloves. because I don't want to put my fingerprints all over it, you know? So it was so nice that they included these in that. Okay. Here she comes. I have to be so careful. I still can't believe this is here, you guys. So this is what she looks like. She is tuned to 432 hertz. This is the heart chakra. So listen for the vibration within your heart chakra. I feel it through my whole body. I feel it really strongly in my third eye, but it definitely makes my heart chakra vibrate. So pay attention to where you feel it in your body. Okay, here we go. It sounds so cool with my big giant crystal bowl. It's amazing. Are you guys hearing it? Oh man, I can feel it. Woo! It almost tickles. Woo! It's got my heart just. Bzzz. It's like I just had a shot of coffee, shot of espresso. "432 hertz. All you have to do is receive. I am open and receptive to receive this frequency. I take this frequency for my highest good. I take this frequency and heal this. I take this frequency and heal that." So I found one thing is if I wet my fingers or I wet the harp, I'm not going to do that right now. But I'm going to be coming on and doing these healing sessions where I'm going to actually change my whole setup here. And because I want my big giant crystal singing bowl, that is also 432 hertz, but it is on a much lower frequency. So it's like really like bass. And they sound amazing together. So I want to kind of like reset things up in here so that I can bring in. And I haven't got to do it yet, but I can't wait to take this down by the water. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous of breaking it. So nervous. Are you guys vibrating? Woo! I hit the crystal. Yesterday I was doing a little video on it, and I hit the tip of one of the cylinders on my button on my clothes, and it did that. It scared me. The whole thing is clear quartz crystal. That's a lot of quartz. So when your hand's wet and you play the thing, it's completely sounds completely different. It is so cool. But I'm following a lady named Candace on TikTok, Sacred Forest Crystal Harps. And she healed herself of lupus because what this does is it recalibrates the nervous system. I'm going to learn over time which ones to add at what time that are going to work best for me. That's just going to take time for me personally. But I just feel like I need to heal the world with this alongside me. Yeah, I plan on coming back and changing up my space here because I'm going to do lives on TikTok. You get paid for doing lives on TikTok. So, like, pretty good money, actually. I'm going to be doing lives on TikTok. I have held back on doing that until now because I didn't have a niche, really. And I didn't want to just come on TikTok and just sit there and try to keep up a conversation with a bunch of people I don't know. So I haven't really utilized that part of TikTok that they pay pretty good. I was waiting for my niche. Well, I've got it. This is my niche. So I'm going to reset up my whole space so that I can integrate my singing bowls, because I've got a giant crystal singing bowl and then I've got smaller ones. And other things. I have my steel tongue drum, my tongue drums. And yeah, I'm just going to set up for a whole like frequency healing space. And my lives are going to be that. Healing people on a mass on live so I can reach as many people as I can every day. I don't know that, I don't think YouTube pays for going live. I don't think. But TikTok does. And the more you do it and the longer you do it, the more they pay you. And you get paid for like views, and when people are engaging with each other in the chat and stuff like that, they take all that into consideration on TikTok. You get paid for that. So I'm like all about that. I'll sit and play with it all day long. I'd do it if they wouldn't pay me, but that's just a bonus, right? We should all get paid. This is something I want to share with you guys. I'm going to put this back for now. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was talking to Dean about this. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but whenever I don't ask for a lot out of other people. So whenever I ask for help, I come to a point where I'm asking for help or I'm asking for something out of somebody. When I get it, it always comes with like some degree of almost guilt. It's like, oh, you did this for me, now I owe you. Like that kind of feeling. That has always, kind of accompanied whenever anyone has ever done anything for me. And I don't like feeling that way. I don't like feeling like I'm indebted to somebody, or that it's my turn to do something for someone, and that just kind of like, it feels like it hangs over my head. And so because of that, I don't ever ask for help much. And the experience of gratitude that I have, it's such a new experience for me. This feeling of gratitude, it's a different thing. Like generally when I feel grateful, it comes with a tinge of guilt or a tinge of, now I owe you. This is probably, I don't know if I always feel that way when someone gives me something, but this is big. This is big and life-changing. Okay. And I'm hoping it'll be life-changing for so many others too. This is huge. I was so worried that I was going to feel bad once it came, that I was going to feel like guilty, or like, did I, was that the right thing to do? Did I do something wrong? Did I take advantage of people? Was that the right thing to do? And I kept thinking, am I going to go into that? But when it came, the gratitude I am experiencing, that guilt's not there. it's not there. It's like, it's just not there. This is a different level of gratitude that I have experienced. I feel like, not only do I feel like this is going to save my physical health, it's going to turn everything around. It's going to remove the issue with my nervous system, which is MS. MS is your nervous system overreacting and attacking itself. This is going to recalibrate. So far, it has 2 days now, recalibrated my nervous system and reset it. And if I start my day off and go and remind it a few times throughout the day, reset it, it's going to make MS impossible to exist in my body. Let me say that again. It's going to make MS impossible to exist in my body. So the level of gratitude is this. For every second I spend healing myself, I'm putting it right back out into the world. This came with all of your guys' help for a collective. It's not just for me. And I think that's why I don't feel the guilt, because I know it's not just for me. I know it's not just for me. And I'm so grateful. I love you guys. I love this community. You guys you mean the world to me. Nobody has ever done anything like this for me before. I've never set up a GoFundMe or had anyone ask for anything from anyone. So there was only one other time in my life where I felt this deep of gratitude, but it came with that guilt feeling. But it was when our house burned down, which is something I've never shared yet, I don't think, on this platform. But when I was in dental school, let me put this baby up on her before I end up hurting it. It comes with a beautiful stand. Comes with a beautiful crystal stand too. So let me think back. I think it was probably it was either 1999 or the year 2000. I can't remember, actually. That's crazy. I can't remember that because that was a big deal. I had left to go. I was in dental school. Okay. And where we lived at, I had to drive 2 hours just to get to school. And I was working during the day and going to school at night. So I didn't get home until midnight every night. But it was in the afternoon and I was on my way to school. And my lecture hall teacher called me and I was almost there. I was still on the freeway, but I was almost there. And my lecture hall teacher, which was weird, but they were doing senior class prank type stuff to all of the graduates, the people who were graduating out. And nobody had gotten me at that point. So I thought that this was that when she first called. But she called me and she said, "Where are you?" And I said, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm going to be right on time. I'm almost there. And she said, "Get off the freeway, turn around and go home." And I was like, "What? Why?" I thought I was in trouble for something. And she said, "Your house is on fire." I was like, "Yeah, right." I knew that my ex-husband was there and my kids were there. When I left, everything was great. So I thought it was a prank. And she said, "Listen closely. Susan Curdy just called." That was my next door neighbor's name. And there is no way she could know my next door neighbor by name. So it dawned on me that my house was on fire. And then I panicked for 2 hours as I tried to get back home. By the time I got back home, it was a total loss. The family, my parents, his parents, neighbors, friends were all in the grass and sitting in the lawn, everyone crying, hysterical. Our house burned down. And it was the second time in my life that actually has happened. My house burnt down when I was a little kid too. We were gone at church when we came back from church and our house was almost gone. My cousin was staying with us and it was a mobile home type house that my dad had purchased while he was building the house that we were going to live in, but it wasn't even close to being done. He had just started it and he was doing it as he could afford it, still trying to live and raise a family and whatever extra went towards that. So it was taking some time. And we lived in this mobile home and my cousin had come to stay, and he had started a fire in the fire pit, and there was a pile of logs right next to the window, underneath the window, and the fire pit was right there. And he had grabbed a log to put it in the fire pit, and the curtain was attached to it, and he didn't realize it. And it went up in flames, and that little mobile home burnt down so fast. I have one very clear memory of that. I don't remember it much because I was maybe about 7 or 8 years old, but I do have one very clear memory of that. And what I remember is they were keeping us in the car, making us stay in the car, and we were crying and upset over it. My little sister was asleep. She was like 3 or 4, and she was asleep through the whole thing. And I just remember trying to wake her up to tell her what was going on, and being in the car, and the adults were running around like crazy, and we lived at the top of a hill, and it took forever for the fire trucks to get there. And by the time they got there, there was no saving it. But I remember seeing my dad run straight into the fire, into the house that was on fire. Why did he do that? Because he had a bunch of antique guns that had been passed down through the family for centuries. And he was trying to go in there and save those guns. But when he got in there, my dad made his own bullets. So he had like this desk where he had gunpowder and casings, and also he would pack and make his own bullets. Well, they started shooting off. The guns started shooting off. If they had ammunition, and the bullets that he had made started shooting off as they were getting fire. And of course, my dad turned around and ran right back out. So as soon as that started happening, it was a total loss. We lost every single thing. My mom has an identical twin sister. We went to stay with them, and that's about all I really remember at that time in life. I don't know how I really don't remember where we went from there as far as where we lived or any of that. Fast forward to my house burning down. Our house fire was caused by a Bunn coffee maker that was gifted to us as a wedding gift from my grandmother. At that point, it was, 5 years old. It would have been 5 years old. But those Bunn coffee makers were built, or they bragged that they were like such great quality and they would last forever, right? Well, it was one of those coffee makers that had a big reserve in it. And it was known for being super quick, of making your coffee really quick, because it always had hot water at the ready. So, but inside that water tank, there was a thermostat, and that thermostat regulated the temperature, and it went out, and the heating element just got it hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. And the thermostat wasn't there to trip it, just to, turn it or stop the current, stop it. And it caught fire, and it caught the curtains on fire in the kitchen window. And that was how it happened. It was from the Bunn coffee maker. So we had homeowners insurance, and our homeowners insurance, we got a brand new house out of it. It was hard because I lost so much. And that was when I was so grateful that I had handed out so many pictures of my kids as babies to family members. I was shoving my kids' pictures in everybody's faces forever. I went and had their pictures done, professionally done a couple times a year. And I was always handing those out, and I was so grateful I did, because that was the only way I had them. Everybody gave them back to me after the fire, and that was the only way I could have them. So that I was grateful for that, but we did pretty much lose everything. They did get the fire out and try to save some things, but by putting them in a hyperbaric chamber or an ozone chamber, and apparently it's supposed to pull the smoke and soot and the smell of burning plastic, because that's the worst part of a house fire, is the burning plastic smell penetrates and you cannot get rid of it. So I remember I think they even tried to like save our living room furniture, our couches, but they had been in this ozone chamber for a while, and you could put your face to them and you could smell the fire. So it was a total loss, but I think that the lesson for me that came out of that is not to hold on to material things too hard, because we can't take it with us, and to be picky and choosy of the things that I bring into my life, because I feel like if we focus too much on wanting, getting, having, we kind of lose sight of the experience here. We can kind of lose sight. And yeah, I try to surround myself with things that are meant for my highest good. So like, you'll never walk into my house and see a collection of like horror films or a collection of like Stephen King books, or you'll never see something like that in my surroundings. Every single thing in my home, even where it's placed in my home, is all very intentional for the highest good. That's why when people come to my house, and my bestie can account for this, when people come to my house, they don't want to leave. They love, I get that all the time. People come in and they're like, the energy in here is incredible. Like, you know, the crystal shop energy or something. But people tell me when they come in that the energy is, they say it's magical. That's the word that's used a lot. People will say, your home is so magical. Of course, I have crystals lining every shelf and, you know, other stuff too. But it's very, yeah, I guess pretty magical in here. So I don't know. I believe that the things we place in our surroundings, well, I know the things we place in our surroundings holds energy. It can hold either high energy or low energy. Okay, let me catch up. I see Sam laughing about something, and I got to know. I got to be in on it. Roxanne says it's a societal norm. Yes. You're welcome for the vibration. It is going to be life-changing. It is. When my son transitioned, I did exactly the opposite of what I have said here. And the first thing I did was say, I cannot live without my son. This life isn't even worth finishing without my son. I started saying those things. I started playing why'd this happen to me? I try to do so much good for people. I try to be, you know, a light in people's lives. Why'd this happen to me? And I started personalizing it. It has nothing to do with me. Literally, my son's transition has nothing to do with me. But it took a minute for me to realize that. And it is the norm to jump to the lower ways of thinking, the lower vibrations, and we can get lost in that. We can certainly get lost in that. It was never my intention to go into an MS relapse, although in the back of my mind, I kind of figured it would happen. But what I did was speak it into existence. Unfortunately, I spoke it into existence. Even though what the words I was saying was, man, I hope I don't end up in an MS relapse over this. Man, I'm so worried that this is going to cause me to have an MS relapse. I said that so many times. I'm just trying to avoid going into a relapse. But what I did was I said relapse over and over and over until it became my reality. So please take that for an example. Now, if I'm powerful enough to manifest a relapse, don't you think I'm powerful enough to manifest it away? Because I do. With the right tools, with the right supporting community, I absolutely can. And I'm going to. So be it, and so it is. Right? Yes. So, okay, guys, I'm going to hop off. I was on here a little bit longer than normal. Thank you so much for joining. We are all done with the major arcana. So next week, we're going to be starting in. So what do you guys want to start with first? What suit do you guys? We've got the swords, the cups, the pentacles, or the wands. What do you guys want to start with? Which suit do you want to start with first? You tell me, and I'll let you guys pick. So I showed you guys these, the Reiki crystal rings, right? So these over here are finished. They've got all the crystals on them already. I still have these ones to put the crystals on. I'm trying to get these all mailed out by Tuesday. So I've actually had to close that link. Not close it. I paused it. That link in my Etsy shop so that I could get caught up. Because those orders all came in like within 24 hours. Cups, pentacles, pentacles. Okay, we're at a tie. Pentacles or cups. I thought cups, but then pentacles overtook my thoughts. Okay, we'll start with pentacles. No problem. That is earth energy. That is actually probably a really good place to start. So the pentacles is earth energy. And that, wait a minute, is it? No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Pentacles is earth energy, the tangible things. I almost thought cups was, but no, cups is water. But that is earth energy. And yeah, we'll start with there because we are all struggling. Pentacles also stands for money, material objects, that kind of stuff. So right now we're all kind of struggling with all of that. Money. It looks like I'm not the only one who's looking to relocate. I hope, Lisa, I hope you guys, that works out for you guys. I don't know where you're at in that journey. I don't know if your intention is to try to purchase a house or if you want to rent a place somewhere. Just speak it into existence, sister, because that's what I'm doing. And that's how it's going to happen for us. And that's how it's going to meet my criteria of happy, safe, and comfortable. That's all I ask for. Happy, safe, and comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I mean financially comfortable, physically comfortable, the whole 9 yards. And Lisa, Sam says, Lisa, you will get your house just like the last one. Yes, so be it, and so it is. So be it, and so it is. Positivity is making your day run smoothly. Stay positive, whoever you are. Thank you. Thank you. That right there. Okay. The intrusive thoughts that we were talking about earlier, you guys, there's an energy on the planet right now that is doing that. It's giving people the intrusive thoughts. It's making people doubt themselves. It's making people feel sadder about something than they actually normally would. It's making irritation. It's causing sleeplessness. That's one thing that's being attacked right now, big time, you guys, on a worldwide scale, is our sleep, our quality of our sleep. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I have. I had one day last week, and I think one day the week before, where I literally could not fall asleep, and I was up for 24 hours. I laid in bed and tossed and turned and could not fall asleep. That is happening to a lot of people right now. Why? They're keeping us in chaos, keeping this chaotic energy, trying to keep us in chaos so we can't go do our sleep state work. And we're not rested. So we make poor decisions and we're more emotional and moody and less productive. I mean, it is kind of like an attack. That's like a planetary attack that's being put on us by this chaos thing that came through the portal, through the CERN portal. It's here. It's causing chaos. It's causing bad weather anomalies. It's causing people to fight. It's causing people to harm each other and themselves. A lot of unaliving is happening because of this thing. It's causing intrusive thoughts. So, but here's the thing. If you're mindful of it, you guys, this is how I deal with it. Because believe me, it sparks off that complex PTSD, and I will be having a grand old time doing whatever, baking cookies, singing a song, doing my art, making whatever, okay? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, I am reliving that moment. Nothing has triggered me. Nothing has, I wasn't in that thought frame of mind to begin with. And all of a sudden, bam, there it is. And I'm reliving it. And I find myself holding my breath. And then I start, panicking, go into an anxiety attack. My heart starts pounding in my chest. It's a terrible feeling. And it's being put on me by something else. Now that I realize this, I can stop it as it starts. I can say, nope, I reject this. I absolutely reject this. This is not for me. It's not for my highest good. I reject this. And I can stop it in its tracks. Of course, the doctors, they want me to take pills. Here, take this pill, take that pill. Nope, no, thank you. So the power of our mind is absolutely amazing, you guys. And please be mindful of this. Spirit just keeps putting it on me to say this. Be mindful of this entity of chaos, as it will create chaos in your life in unexpected ways. and be aware of it, because being aware of it takes its power away. And I think I said that right. I'm getting goosebumpies. Yeah. Just being aware of it, that it's there, and that's the influence in the moment. Reject it. Being aware of it takes its power away. Yeah, it plants seeds. Yes. Oh my gosh, Sam. Yes, it plants seeds. It attacks us in our dreams, giving us nightmares, throwing us off track in any kind of dream work we're trying to do, or just stealing our sleep from us completely. And it does little gouges, little things. I had a really good friend who, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm kind of still a little bit heartbroken over the fact that I had to walk away from this individual. Never did I think I would. I honestly never thought that I would not be friends with this person. Because it was a, I don't know how he is right now, but he was very highly spiritual. He's an empath, gifted, very smart, very wide awake. And he suddenly got wrapped up in the politics and literally attacked me all day long on Mother's Day, my first Mother's Day without my son. He attacked me all day long on social media. He was like literally every 5 minutes giving me these big long messages, schooling me on and telling me about how Trump was this and Trump was that. And I'm like, I don't get involved with politics because they're all in my mind. Like, they're all crooked. I'm not going to pick one crooked person over another, but he would not stop. And I tried to appeal to him. Look, this is not how a light worker acts. Look, this is counterintuitive for your journey. And I couldn't reach him. And it got worse and worse to a point where I had to block him. The last person in the world I ever thought I would ever block. But we have to use discernment right now, because apparently he had a weak spot and he was being used by a low vibrational. And unfortunately, he has relapsed into his alcoholism. It sent him on a spiral. And I swear it happened from this entity of chaos that is just everywhere right now. So we really need to use our discernment completely right now. If you get a bad gut feeling, please listen to that. Please state your intentions every day when you wake up. Do your affirmations. Look in the mirror when you're doing it. Mirror it back to yourself. You're going to mirror that positivity back and forth to yourself. That's going to raise your vibration. Please be mindful of what you're absorbing when you go on social media, what stories you're listening to and buying into. Please be very mindful of the things you bring into your home. Right now, there's this really popular little toy that's literally just went viral everywhere. It's called a Labubu. This doll it's a little stuffed animal that kind of looks like a scary looking bunny rabbit. But it is actually created after a Celtic demon, Pazuzu. And they are giving them to our children. It's literally made after a demon, Pazuzu demon. It's a Celtic, okay, a real demon. And these little dolls look like that demon. They resemble it. The children are having temper tantrums. It's affecting the children. It's literally being integrated into our children. We have to use so much discernment. Yes, The Simpsons did predict it. This one girl, okay, she went on a vision quest, and she was out in the woods for like 2 months, okay, doing a vision, some kind of soul growth where she couldn't be near social media or tech or any of the chaos of the world. She went out in the woods. When she came back and kind of reconnected to her platforms and her people, she said all she could see was that doll hanging off grown adults' purses, and everyone doing unboxings on TikTok. And it's the whole rage. Everyone, if you don't have one of those little dolls, what's wrong with you? You're not, get on board here, is the whole energy around that. Well, it freaked her out. She said, "This is scary. What is this? This doesn't feel right to me." But she had that feeling after having been disconnected from the world. Her discernment was so strong when she came back that she immediately knew that there was something wrong with that without anyone having to tell her. It gave her the most creeped out feeling. And that's what it does to me. Whenever if I'm looking, like scrolling through the internet for any reason, I don't do that much anymore. But if I am scrolling through, it's usually to check my own platforms. And I see that stupid doll, and it is everywhere. I scroll right past it as fast as I can. I'm not going to absorb that energy. But the point I'm trying to make is, you guys, we have to use our discernment and be so careful of things we are exposing our children to, ourselves, what we are absorbing into ourselves. It is more important right now, more than ever, that we keep our vibration as high as we possibly can, collectively, okay? Because we need it. We need it. We need it. We need it. Okay. We need it. Humanity needs it. This planet needs it, because we're about to face a big shift. Big. Like, everything is going to be different. And I just had a black crow come and land right in front of my window, right as I said that. Literally, right as I said that, there he is. He's looking right at me. So that's confirmation for me. The crows are, I feel like that's kind of from my son. I find the feathers all the time. They're always crow feathers. And I always feel that energetically connects to my son. But it feels also like a, warning's not the right word. It's almost like it's an informing. So things are winding up for a big shift. Something really, really huge is about to happen that's going to change who we are as human beings. And there's going to be some disclosure soon of the alien races. That's one thing I read on personally a lot. And I'm telling you guys right now, there's going to be some disclosure. And there will never, ever, ever again, it will not ever be possible again for anyone to hide in blind ignorance, because how safe it feels to say, I don't believe in aliens. They don't exist. You're crazy. That's safe for them to remain in that mindset. But they can only remain in that mindset for so long, because there's going to be proof undeniable very soon. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I got to get these rings done so that I can get them mailed out. But I love you guys so much. Again, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Lisa and Dean, for pitching in on the harp. I love it so much. I'm going to be doing lives with it, healing lives, and you guys will be there, I'm sure. And Lila, thank you for coming. Beachcomber, thank you for coming. Thank you for moderating, Sam. I want you guys to just, such good news, good life. Thank you. Yes, it was amazing. I think we finished off the major arcana pretty good. Next week we'll start on Pentacles, and that's exciting. That's a manifestation of money and success. So that's a great place to start. Absolutely. Okay, I love you guys. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and wishing you all good things for the coming week. All right. Good night, guys. Love you. Bye.